Okay, what if I told you that by the end of this short explainer, you'll have a real, concrete plan to win back an entire workday every single week? Yeah, I'm talking about 5 to 10 hours of your life, reclaimed. Let's dive in and see how.
First, let me ask you something. Just think about your last work week for a second. Where did all those hours actually go? It's probably not the big, obvious projects that are eating up your calendar. No, it's something way sneakier, happening just under the surface of your workday.
And here it is. This is the real culprit. It's not that massive report you had to write. It's the constant mental whiplash. Jumping from an email to a Slack message to a meeting and then right back to another email. Every single one of those switches costs you a little bit of focus, a little bit of energy, and man, does it add up fast.
So, let's call them out. Let's put a name to these time thieves and get really specific about the tasks that are just quietly draining your productivity every single day.
Do any of these look familiar? I bet they do. We're talking about that daily report that takes just enough brain power to be annoying, or that endless flood of nearly identical emails. And oh yeah, those meetings that end with a vague, let's circle back, but you leave with zero actual next steps. These are the absolute perfect targets for AI.
All right, now for the fun part. Let's flip the script. Instead of thinking about AI as just another app or piece of software, I want you to start thinking of it as a new partner on your team, a partner who's ready to take on all those time-draining tasks we just identified.
Look at this comparison. This shows the huge shift in your role. Let's take email. The old way, you're staring at a blank page for maybe 15 minutes, trying to find the right words. The AI way, you give it a few bullet points, it spits out a draft, and boom, your job instantly changes from writer to editor. You're just refining and approving, cutting your time down to just a few minutes.
And it's the exact same kind of transformation with meetings. How often do meeting notes just go to die in some shared document somewhere? Well, with AI, you can take a meeting transcript and instantly turn it into a summary with clear action items assigned to specific people. The follow-up gets automated. Your meeting goes from being a passive status update to a real tool for getting things done.
So we've seen what's possible, right? Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the specific workflows that make this whole thing a reality. This is all about practical application, not just some fuzzy theory. This brings us to a really powerful idea, the first draft partner. The hardest part of almost any task is just getting started. This workflow is all about completely getting rid of that friction. You let AI handle that messy, rough first version, which frees up all your mental energy for the stuff that actually matters, the strategy, the creative thinking, and the final polish.
Now this is one of the most powerful time savers out there. Seriously, think about it. You've got one key update for the week. Instead of painstakingly rewriting it for all the different channels and audiences, you just give that one core idea to your AI partner. Then you ask it to create everything you need, the client email, the internal memo, maybe even a social media post. It's a massive force multiplier for your effort.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds fantastic, but it also feels a little risky, right? How do you hand things over to an AI without losing control or, creating a bunch of new problems? Well, that's where having some really clear rules of engagement is absolutely critical.
This quote right here, this is the core principle you need to tattoo on your brain. AI is incredible at executing well-defined tasks, like drafting an email or summarizing notes, but it is not a replacement for your judgment or your relationship with a client. The final decision, the final call, always stays with you. So, let's be super clear. Here are the hard and fast guardrails. You never, ever automate the final say on a critical decision. You never automate anything that could damage customer trust if it went sideways. And most importantly, you never ever let AI-generated content go out into the world without a final human review. Being smart about what you don't automate is key.
And here's another super powerful use that a lot of people overlook. Before you hit send on that important proposal or that tricky email, ask your AI to review it. Think of it as your second set of eyes. It can instantly act as a proofreader, checking for clarity, for tone, and for potential misunderstandings. It is an incredible way to catch those preventable mistakes before they become real problems.
All right, we've covered the problem, the solution, and the rules of the road. Now for what I think is the most important part. How do you make these time savings permanent? How do you get them to compound week after week? And this right here is the secret to making it all stick. Using AI once or twice is just an experiment. That's fine.
But the real, lasting change happens when you build it into your daily habits. When using your first draft partner becomes as automatic as opening your laptop in the morning, that's when you start to see those massive, compounding time wins.
So here it is. This is your action plan starting today. First, just identify your top 3 personal time sinks. Maybe it's email, meeting follow-ups, and weekly reports. Second, match each of those with a simple AI workflow like the ones we talked about. Third, just start small. Pick one and do it every day this week. And finally, track your time. See how much you actually saved. I promise the results will be all the motivation you need.
So let's end with this question. Imagine it's Friday afternoon, and you've done it. You've reclaimed a full day's worth of time. That's 10 hours back in your life. What are you going to do with them? Are you going to use it for that deep, strategic work you never have time for? Or maybe just leave the office early? Learn a new skill? The choice is yours.